Network, playing the sexiest music on the planet.
It's time for Stages of Life Radio with Dr. David Klein. Have a medical question? Call 407-422-1212. That's 407-422-1212 or text 23680.
I feel like she was yelling at us.
I believe so.
Didn't you? Just text. What? No. You can. 23680. That's fine. The phones are open too at 407-422-1212. There we go.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Actually, I wrote it down just in case I'd forget, and then I forgot.
And then you forgot. No, it's okay. She just said it. I mean, really. All right, so phones are open, text line is open, and Dr. Dave is here and ready for business. Stages of Life Medical Institute brings you the show along with pharmacy specialists in Maitland. Check out makerx.com for more information on Juan and the guys over there. So what are we talking about today, Dr. David Klein?
Well, today we're going to wrap things up with the nutraceuticals for age, for gender, disease state, disease proclivity, and whatnot. And what this is, it's a program that we're putting together to allow people to do it yourself, the old DIY kind of a deal. And so then you lay these things on top of each other based upon what the disease situation is in your family, in your history, things that you might expect to have happen to you or not. And so you can actually take charge rather than looking for $100 a month products that promise everything like a tray of asparagus in 2 capsules. It doesn't work that way. You cannot, irreducibly compress matter without causing something like fusion. Oh. Okay, we'll start talking about nuclear physics here in a second.
Not right now.
So what we're going to talk about today is diseases and things that you might have to do as you get older. You become a senior. You start to become, the old person. So first we're going to define what is an old person.
Oh.
So to do this, unless you're driving, what I'd like you to do is to go and look in the mirror and say this: anybody older than me is old. Okay, because that's pretty much the way we think. I'm not old. I'm not this. I'm not that.
That old.
No, because it's all in the way you think. It's not just, age is just a number. Well, I'll tell you, that number is going to come back and bite you if you're not really careful. And so what we're going to talk about is how do you prolong your life. Okay, that's kind of an important thing to do, you would think. We're going to prolong your productive life and your happiness, because it sucks, to be old and decrepit or old and sick or old and demented. In fact, it's worse if you're young and demented, but we have those patients too. So what do you do while you can do it, when you can afford to do it, when you find the time to do it, and when you can work up the energy to get up off your arse, as they say in the business, and do what you need to do to make yourself happier and healthier? And none of this is all that tricky. None of it need to be tricky. There's certain rudiments that you just need to pay attention to, one of which is this, is that quality doesn't come just across the board. Most of the things that you're going to find out there, whether it's in the dollar store, whether it's in the convenience store, whether it's in the grocery store, drugstore, or any place else, you're going to see lots of different labels, lots of different products, lots of different things, making claims, pretty boxes, pretty labels, pretty saying, slogans, and whatnot.
Pretty much crap.
Much of it is. So you have to look at what's behind the curtain. And my dad owned a wine store in downtown Washington. He dealt with presidents. He actually, there was a half a dozen different White Houses from the 50s through the 1980s. And he could sell whatever he wanted to these guys. Okay, they would come to him and say, okay, we're having a party with X number of people at it. It'll be held at the White House. It might be at the Capitol. It might be. And they would ask him what needed to be served. They would tell him what the food was, and he would come up with the pairings, as they call it, with wine and liquor. And when it comes to nutraceuticals, you don't have that.
No.
There's nobody there to do it for you. And so you need to learn this kind of stuff. Well, I'll do it, and I'll help you with it. Oh. But you can't fix everybody. You can't help everybody. There's only one of me. So what I'm trying to do is to put together a program where you can actually subscribe into it, and then it will work its way through, starting the things that need to be started in the right order, in the right amounts, and with the right frequencies. And this is terribly important. Anybody will sell you anything if you go down to the corner drugstore. I'd like to buy that bottle there for my macular degeneration. I want to buy that bottle over there for my constipation. And you're just going to take it to the clerk, and the clerk's going to go, fine, that'll be $8.50. Put on your charge card, give you a couple reward points, and off you go. but it really doesn't necessarily work. And so the problem with these things in general is people think that because they're used to going to the store, asking for a product, and then getting it sold to them, and then it doesn't work, that it was the product that did it wrong, and actually has nothing to do with it. If you buy a screwdriver to do the job of a box wrench, it will never work. You can buy the best screwdriver in the world. Mm-hmm. You can buy the best pair of pliers. It's not going to happen. You need a screwdriver to do a screwdriver's job, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about here. So what happens as you get older? This is where it starts to get interesting because you have several different physiological actions that are happening simultaneously, one of which is that your digestive tract is becoming less and less efficient. So you can eat 100 of this or 1,000 of that or 16 of this. How much of that actually gets absorbed? When it comes to minerals and you're at your peak health, that's when you're like 16 to 20 years of age, your body will only absorb 1 to 2% of the minerals that are thrown down the hatch. That doesn't mean you're wasting 98. It just simply means your body needs 100 to absorb 2. The same thing is true with your grass that's out in your lawn. An inch has to drop in order for a quarter of an inch to make it to the roots. If you go out there and turn your sprinklers on a quarter of an inch, you just wasted your time and money, and the water just evaporates. So when it comes to the nutraceuticals, we do very much the same thing. So the last chapter in this book was going to be your last chapter, is what do you do to keep yourself thinking? So look at William Shatner. You know, the guy's 90 years old, and they're going to blast him off on a rocket ship, you know? I mean, that's like the last great, achievement for this guy. Okay, he pretended for so many decades. Actually, it was only like 4 years.
It was 2 years.
Whatever.
2 years, but then he wrote it out forever.
The guy's still sucking down those royalty checks. But the beauty in it, okay, is that it closes the great loop. But he's 90 years old, and the guy is just hooting it up and hollering and having a great time.
Looks great too. Did you see him? He looks pretty darn good. He looks pretty darn good. He's
okay?
90. I mean, the Zoom filters do wonders sometimes, but
only somewhat. The guy is interesting, to say the very, very least. He is still funny. He's still articulate. He moves around. He doesn't seem to be in pain.
Ground control.
And yet,
to Major
you
Tom.
got it. That's exactly right. So, hats off to Shatner. He's quite the guy. Don't you want to be Shatner?
Maybe.
All right. Or would you rather be the person down the street, rolling down in a wheelchair because they haven't, the bone strength to do what needs to be done, or the individual that's loading and unloading their groceries, but except it's not their car. And so the real issue is, what do you do to keep yourself going? And so digestion, absorption starts to degrade. And it doesn't matter what you do, you can help it along a little bit, but it degrades and you have to account for it. It just simply means you have to take more down the hatch to make up the difference. You can, in fact, do this. It's not that difficult. Instead of eating one pill of this, you might have to take 2 or 1.5 or whatever it happens to be. These things get dosed for a reason. But what else? Certain organ systems degrade with age, like all of them. Okay, so your bones tend to become less hard. Let's say your heart doesn't work quite as well. The nerves tend to degrade somewhat. But why did Bill Shatner's last so long? Okay, maybe the guy has another secret or two that he's not speaking out about. I've watched every Star Trek one of the show that there was. Okay, but he never really came out with why I'm going to live to be 90 years old, because he did it when he was 30. He didn't know what was going to happen.
No.
He outlived Nimoy, okay, and everybody else in that crew.
Much, yeah.
So first we're going to start with thyroid, okay? Why do I care so much about thyroid? Because it's so predictable. The doctors, by and large, focus on one number. That's called the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, because they think that the pituitary gland is the master gland of all. Well, it's not. We'll talk about that after the turn, as they say. The second thing are the adrenal glands. Most doctors don't even test for adrenal function.
Well, then they're
and
not
we're going to pick those
right.
2 things up after this, because these 2 things are the secrets to not aging badly.
Secrets being revealed. Plus, we've got some text we'll take care of. Yeah. 23680 is the text line if you want to call in. 407-422-1212. Stages of Life Radio. We is live. Let me see if I can find that little thing there. Oh, may not make it. Wait. There it is. I found it. Now all I have to do is push the button. We'll be right back. Stages of Life Radio on News Radio WFLA Orlando. I did it. Okay, let's see how close I came. 3 seconds.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll do about 8 minutes on thyroid and adrenals, then we'll pick up the text first. Do we have any callers on yet?
We
don't usually typically see them until I stop yapping.
Yeah.
So.
Here we go. Female, I know, 29, thinks she may have POTS.
Okay, so it's a disorder of the autonomic nervous system. Go on.
Has many symptoms, very bad at times. Going this week to get a 3-week cardiac monitor. What is to be expected if she does have POTS?
Okay, POTS is kind of interesting. It seems to be another one of those disorders that gets overdiagnosed. Mm-hmm. You've got somebody that feels a little bit dizzy, a little bit upset, a little bit this, a little uneasy. And then if you start finding that the heart rate doesn't change very well or very much, becomes less variable, let's say, then they get slapped with a diagnosis of POTS. It's an autonomic nerve dysfunction. And so it has many causes, okay, because the autonomic nervous system can be influenced by a lot of different types of disorders, imbalances, and deficiency states. So what can she expect? She'll probably expect them to say, well, gee, you're going to have to drink plenty of water. We might have to give you some fluorinephrine, probably not, but this is really a terrible problem and you're not going to do well. When the fact of the matter is the first thing you need to check these individuals for is adrenal function. What is her cortisol level doing? What's her ACTH level doing? What's her pregnenolone level? What's her DHEA level doing? And by knowing that, you'll know whether or not you have somebody that's got adrenal fatigue or adrenal failure, which is far more likely to occur. The second thing is get a medication history to find out what she may be taking that's going to deprive her body of magnesium and B12. This means proton pump inhibitors and H2 blockers. Things that take away stomach acid will give you autonomic dysreflexia in about 6 to 12 weeks to some extent or another. So most of the persons that I've known over the years with this turned out to have nutritional issues.
There you go. Is that's helpful?
We'll find out.
I guess. Joe, hope that helps out. So this isn't like, what are some of the symptoms that you were just describing?
She may get dizzy. She may have, when she goes to stand up a little bit, she may feel a little bit off. Her stomach may not operate quite properly, as it turns out. So if she goes to the cardiologist, okay, if she goes to the family doc that has a patient with this or knows of somebody with it, this is the sort of diagnosis they'll get. There's so many things you have to look at first.
We are a radio station and pay licensing fees and music applicable fees. Please do not block our portions of the show just because you're not paying attention. That was for Facebook and the algorithms and stuff.
Yeah, because Facebook is the all-knowing eye. That's on the dollar bill, by the way.
It is. It's on the dollar bill. Welcome back. It's Stages of Life Radio, Sunday afternoons, 4 to 5, because somebody's got to get you healthy. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Actually, they should replace that little I with an F for Facebook, don't you think?
The all-knowing eye on the dollar bill.
Yeah.
When you come in halfway through the conversation, you can watch us on social media, and then you get the whole joke, not just like an errant afterthought.
Or you can make the joke up if you know the punchline.
There you go.
We all do that.
There are things you can work around, reverse engineer a joke. That's good. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Well, just don't do that. Right?
Find us right. Yes, right.
Yeah.
It hurts when I do this. Don't do that. Okay, so you can watch us on social media all over the place. Stages of Life Medical Institute. Dr. Klein is in and answering questions. We've got text line questions, but first we're going to finish up with the all-important...
So, yeah, the aging. The two things that you need to know and take home. Okay, because these things really start becoming problematic when you're much younger than 60, much younger than 50. Typically, it'll happen in your 30s and 40s, but you don't realize how badly these things clobber you until you hit 50 or 55, 60 or thereabouts. And it's something that's kind of odd. It's called euthyroid sick. euthyroid sick. I think I have euthyroid sick. You know, that girl, the 29-year-old that we were just doing off air, you know, with POTS. I mean, she may have euthyroid sick. Euthyroid sick just simply means that your thyroid's not working properly in spite of the fact that the TSH level is normal.
Scary.
So what this means is the doc doesn't know what the heck is going on. You know, it looks for all intents and purposes to be hypothyroidism, but your TSH is normal. That's when you call in an expert, okay? Why? Okay, because the pituitary gland can in fact become dysfunctional, every bit the same as your thermostat in your house can break, or the computer in your car can break, as mine just recently did. So when these little bits of relays and whatnot tend to go wonky, then funny things start to happen. The body is no different. So the hypothalamus pituitary, it doesn't work necessarily 100% in all people all the time. You know, after getting your head busted, taking the wrong kind of medicine, it's not going to work properly. So thyroid function diminishes with age, normal TSH notwithstanding. So you can have a normal TSH as an 80-year-old and have temperature 97 degrees and be metabolic. That's just the way these things go. Just because your TSH level is normal doesn't mean that you don't have euthyroid sick. So is that something that can cause dementia-like symptoms? The answer is yes. Does it cause cholesterol to go up? And the answer is yes. Does it cause the autonomic nervous system to go wonky? The answer is of course. So thyroid needs to be looked at. Second thing is the adrenal glands, and they do exactly the same thing. You have 2 adrenal glands, one over each kidney, and they tend to diminish in activity as you age. But I don't know of very many people that go to the doctors once a year and get their cortisol levels checked. They don't do it. Okay, this is really insane to me that it's not done. It's amazing what you can pick up when you find it. No cortisol, wouldn't you know, that's the immune system goes to hell. No cortisol, don't you know it? The memory starts to go to heck. There are all kinds of things that happen. These are all treatable if you bother to look to detect them. So in looking at diseases of the aged, that's aged being defined as 40 and over, okay, according to Hippocrates, okay? The organs of the aged cry out not in pain. You were expected to be dead at the age of 30 back in the Bronze Age. So 40, 50 years of age, things start to fall apart. That's kind of the way that's the way life operates. So you have got to get ahead of this. How do you do it? Blood work first, and then the second thing is to watch what you eat, how you eat, where you eat, okay? Because things like inflammation, okay, we hear about inflammation, anti-inflammatories, tend to cause dementia. They tend to cause diabetes. They tend to cause things like cancer. Anti-inflammatories, almost across the board, tend to be, wouldn't you know it, protective with regards to certain types of cancers, with regards to certain types of dementia. So take this stuff very, very seriously. The foods you're eating, many of which are poisons, in particular high fructose corn syrup and anything that's white in color. Kind of sounds stupid, but it's not. Flour really doesn't, salt, starch, bad news. So what we can do now is we can take those texts if you choose to.
Okay, good. I was just setting up some stuff there. Why not?
Caught you off guard, didn't I?
Not really.
Eh.
No. If you have a blue potato vine tree, no.
No, we're not running specials on blue potato vine tree today.
Okay, if you're vaccinated with
good.
either of the
Messenger
RNA vaccines or the inactive virus vaccine, like J&J, is a positive PCR test inevitable after that point? Would a PCR test read your newly acquired antibodies as if you had an asymptomatic case of COVID?
Okay, so you have not been a long-term listener. Okay, here's how it works. When you get a vaccine, the antibodies go up. So if you're taking an antibody test, you will find those newly acquired antibodies in about 3 to 4 weeks. So I've been researching this particular topic for the past year and a half, measuring those antibodies directly in bloodstream. And it takes between 3 and 6 weeks after you've already had COVID and you get the booster. Or if you've already had the vaccine and you get your booster. It takes 6 to 7, 8 weeks if you're, let's say, virginal to it. If you've never been exposed, never been sick, never been vaccinated. So it takes 3 weeks if you've had the previous vaccine. It takes 7 to 8, 9 weeks if you're not or haven't been exposed. Now, the PCR detects active disease, not antibodies. They do two different things. So if you come in and you've been exposed and you're getting sick, the PCR is what you test for. The antigen would work very much the same way, except that it's much less sensitive. It's in many ways it's more expensive, but it's a whole lot less sensitive. So would the PCR test read your newly acquired antibodies? Heck no. There's no way that it could. So no, the whole idea here is to keep you from becoming PCR positive, not becoming roadkill in the COVID highway.
Most definitely. Okay, here's another one. Are there any problems with the TSA scanning medications that I might carry in my luggage? Would the X-ray of the scanner actually have any detrimental effects on meds? I'm talking specifically about your colostrum product and also NAC. Thank you.
Well, let's think it through. Okay, so if you're looking at ionizing radiation, which is what you're looking at with the X-rays,
Okay.
it takes a certain amount of energy to actually penetrate the skin, to penetrate anything. So when they're burning these X-rays through your luggage, they're finding all kinds of things, but mostly they're looking for metallic objects. Metallic object will suck up those X-rays. You know, they hit them and they either deflect or they get absorbed. Now, if you had a camera in your bags, would it change the film? And the answer is no. Would it expose your film? Now the film, X-ray film and photographic film is very, very sensitive to these X-rays. They've stopped telling you to take them out of your bags before they get scanned because it's not even powerful enough to damage your camera material. So the answer is no. Colostrum is perfectly fine. NAC is fine. Your clothing is intact. Your cologne is intact. You're more likely to get your stuff stolen actually going through TSA than you are damaging of the X-rays.
Stolen or broken.
Broken or thrown away.
23680, if you are able to utilize a smartphone like some of us, you can
Or
text us.
And if you're not so smart, you can call us at 407-422-1212.
There you go. What inhaler do you use for a wheezy chest? Wheezy!
Yeah, there you go.
During
allergies. Okay. My personal favorite's albuterol. That's my go-to inhaler for allergies. That's the one I carry in my pocket during allergy season. It's the one that I prescribe most frequently. However, okay, your best bet is to try to avoid needing the inhaler at all. And so I use something called Quercetin, which is spelled Quercetin, or Quercetin if you're from the UK. And Quercetin is interesting stuff. Not only does it act as a antihistamine, although it's not really an antihistamine the way you think. It just simply takes the mast cells and blocks the release of histamine. Very, very cool. It's a mast cell stabilizer. But it's also been demonstrated to reduce your risk of cancer. So if you want to have some fun with that, if you're a doc out there, if you're a nurse out there, somebody that's going to go, I don't believe that, go to the National Library of Medicine, PubMed, PubMed.gov, and look up Quercetin relationship to cancer prevention. And you'll be surprised at the number of articles that pop up. It's been looked at more than once. Is it expensive? The answer is no, actually. So I take it every morning and every evening because, as so many of my patients know, the doc has a touch of asthma.
Yeah, I take it too.
Quercetin, marvelous stuff. But I do carry the inhaler for those days when the palm trees are really killing us, or when the oak trees are trying to destroy us. So the plants,
exactly.
they're doing it.
Okay, so we're getting ready to come up on a break here, Doc.
Sure.
All right, so I want to save that last text that just came in there. And also on social media, if you are watching us, you know you can ask questions and we will address them. Sometimes on the radio, sometimes just on the social media. We're kind of like that. Yeah. And of course the phone, 407-422-1212. I believe the Dolphins lost. Sorry, a lot of people may be crying right now.
Well, I do feel badly for them.
Don't. The Buccaneers won.
Well, we have good odds around here, don't we?
Well, that's the thing is
Or the
Buccaneers. I don't know. We'll be right back, and we're not talking football. I'm just saying. This is Stages of Life Radio. Anything we talk about, like nutraceuticals, you can find at stagesoflifevitamins.com. Yay. I actually don't know if the Jags were losing, though, but I can't show any more upcoming scores.
Well, I'm actually kind of surprised that the whiners that are out there these days aren't complaining that somebody has to lose with these football games. It's going to hurt somebody's feelings.
No, I know, right?
We can't hurt their feelings. We have winner A and winner B.
Yeah, that was not good. 45-17, the Buccaneers trashed the
No,
Dolphins.
it was closer than the score would indicate.
Jags lost 37-19, so yeah.
It's a bad day for the Florida.
Well, this one team
What high
beat
school are
the
they
other
playing?
Florida team. I know, right? That's crazy. Anyway, you don't follow any of this.
No, I
do
don't.
you?
I don't
Not
really care
anymore.
for it.
No.
Yeah. I kind of lost interest when they were kneeling to the national anthem.
Yeah, I did
That kind
too.
of ticked me off a little bit.
Rob?
Now, we can't really render an opinion there about a brand. So the second
I
from
know.
the,
Let's talk about Bob real quick here.
All right.
What about
Why is
Bob?
Bob smiling?
Why is Bob? It's Tom. I think it's Tom. Can I get COVID a second time? Why, sure you can. Get
Yeah,
in
if you
line.
hurry right up, you can get it right
Quick,
now.
we have a discount.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are going to get COVID or have had COVID a second time. They're going to get it a third time and a fourth time. And here's why. The reason is very, very simple. It's coronavirus. COVID, yes. Coronavirus, assuredly. Your body only maintains an immunity to these things for 90 to 180 days and no more. So when the antibody level drops off, the likelihood of you getting sick with another exposure is very high. And to those individuals that are rolling their eyes right now going, well, what about cellular immunity? I'll ask you this question. Then why is it that kids in grade school get sick by the same colds every 90 days? They pass it around. The school teachers get it just the same.
Sure.
Because coronavirus, adenovirus, rhinovirus, RSV, all of, as well as influenza and parainfluenza, they have very short periods of time where you maintain immunity. We've had cellular immunity to coronavirus for 100,000 years, perhaps. It's been around a long time. But this particular strain, COVID, just happens to be a little bit more deadly than the other ones. So can you get a second time? The answer is yes. My advice to you, Robert, is this. Get an antibody study done. That's a blood draw about every 90 days, 80, 70, in that range. And if that level is below 4, then you get the booster. And you're probably going to have to get it every 90 to 180 days to stay healthy. Otherwise, you're going to lose time. And each time you get exposed to this virus and get sick with it, the likelihood of cardiac issues and neurological problems goes up. Death, maybe not, but side effects, maybe not death, but the heart disease, yes.
All right, when we come back, we got to call one of our regular offenders.
There we go.
Welcome back, Stages of Life Radio. We do this on Sunday afternoons from 4 till 5, regardless if there's football or not. Yes. We do have a caller, Doc, by the way, just to let you know. And we also have...
Gentleman caller?
Yes, gentleman caller. We also have a couple of questions popping in on the text line, which is available to you all the time, 23680. Real quickly, Bud posed something to me. It's Melissa Fox, by the way, from Good Morning Orlando. And Bud, the Icon host, he said on Friday, he wondered if we should stop with the masks and all this in the football arenas. And I said I didn't know that we hadn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was optional at this point anyway. But and I said, perhaps we have to take into consideration that people are going to freak out a little bit because it's coming in waves and it's going to come up again.
We're going to see it again, but it's going to happen every 90 to 120 days. We're going to see another one of these spikes.
But why
so
are
more
we not
people
seeing super spreaders?
Oh, I don't know, because maybe it doesn't work that way. Maybe somewhere along the line we're starting to learn something about this. So, yeah, it's infectious. But why haven't we seen the same sorts of events cause influenza outbreaks to go every which way?
See,
it doesn't work
he
that way.
said, well, that it didn't happen, super spreaders and whatever. And I said, there's no evidence, really, because we closed everything down.
And we still had the same problem.
Exactly.
So where are you most likely to get COVID if you go to a football game? Okay, the place you're most likely to get the toilet, from what you're eating and where you're sitting. Opening those doors, closing the doors, holding onto the railing, you're going to get it the old-fashioned way, which is going to be by touching your hand to your face or your eyes and thereby transmitting the disease to yourself. So what do I think? I think that you need to be very attentive to getting these boosters. Don't roll your eyes and go, I don't want to get it because I don't want to get a shot and stomp your feet, but you're probably going to need this thing every 6 months. And just suck it up, Buttercup, and get it done, because that's what it's going to take to keep yourself working and healthy. So I got my booster. My lovely wife got her booster. 3 on my staff, which we tested looking at levels. their levels dropped. And these were not the individuals that I would have thought would have had low levels of antibodies. There were 3 of the healthiest people in my office, actually, as it turned out. And they went and got their boosters, as you will too, probably. So,
Rick, Altamont, how you doing?
All right, I got a question. It's a little complicated. I have ragweed and pollen allergies all year and asthma, and I take Nasacort and Zyrtec. I'm clearing my throat all day, and this phlegm irritates my throat and esophagus. And I notice when I eat, I frequently cough and have a runny nose after. I get an allergy attack, and I've heard that certain foods are like ragweed. They mimic ragweed.
Well, they don't mimic
also,
ragweed.
where do you get Quercetin?
No, well, Quercetin, you can get it at stagesoflifevitamins.com. You can go online and order it. You don't live that far. Why don't you drive over and look at it? Let me explain it to you. It makes far more sense if I'm willing to sit down and talk to you and say, hey, this is why you do it, how you do it, where you do it. I think it'd be a little bit more effective than sending you on a wild goose chase.
Come on down. It's right off of I-4 in Longwood.
So
there's
the
some
question.
foods that are like ragweed?
Well, okay, now, in the radio business, one of the first things that you learn is not to drink milk or have milk products, cheese products before. Listen, before you go on air, because it makes the body kick out phlegm. There are many foods that do this. Phlegm-producing medications, phlegm-producing foods. And so what you need to do is to look at yourself very carefully and find out which seem to be hitting you. But dairy is the most famous of the bunch. Peanut butter is another one that tends to get people. So, are they mimics of pollen? No, not at all. No. But what they do is they stimulate the autonomic nervous system and the GI tract to do what it's supposed to do. And one of those things is to kick out mucus. Now, where do you secrete mucus in the gastrointestinal tract, you might ask? And the answer is everywhere. It starts in the mouth and goes all the way until the GI tract ends rather abruptly, as you understand how this works. So there are mucus glands the entire way. So there are all manners of ways that you can increase mucus production by medication, food, and supplementation. So one of the things that I do to people that have ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel, and some of these other vague gastrointestinal problems is I give them something called L-Glutamine, which is an amino acid. And L-Glutamine makes you kick out extra mucus. Wouldn't you know it? It also has the same net effect on the esophagus and saliva glands. Now, what do? Were I you, I would be taking something to settle down the immune response a little bit. Now, taking Zyrtec, taking Quercetin, taking all of these antihistamines, they only work for 3 or 4 days, and then they stop. It's called tachyphylaxis. So when you take antihistamines orally like that, you never take them every day or every night if you're taking other sorts of issues. You have to take a break from them, otherwise they stop working. The other thing you want to do is to understand that mucus is there for a reason. Why do you suppose that when you have allergies, your body kicks out mucus? It's because it sees a foreign invasion and tries to get you to kick it out, to expel it, to excrete it, to expel it. So typically what I do with folks with allergies like this is I give them Quercetin, and you take 500 milligrams 2, 3, maybe 4 times a day. Sometimes that's necessary during certain times of the year. The rest of the time you back it down to 2. And N-acetylcysteine, or NAC. NAC is wickedly cool stuff. It is a mucolytic. It will loosen and thin out those secretions so that you actually get them out. Now, so if you've got an oak tree sitting around your house and you know that it's going to really make your nose run, so you blow your nose. That sounds like a really great idea. Use your NAC. That sounds like a really better idea. The best idea of all is to use something called Vaseline. And take a little dab of this and run it around the inside of your nose, and it will further collect and catch the pollen before it hits your respiratory tract. So don't give up, okay, with regards to the pollen allergies. They're a pain in the butt, to be certain, but there are things that you can do. You're not powerless to do it, but you better be careful of the steroids you're using, because
what about saline spray?
Saline spray, you have to be aware of the fact that most of the people using saline sprays are actually pushing the infection or infectious agents deeper into their
Sort
into
of like
their
a
sinus.
neti pot.
Neti pot's
idea.
bad news.
Yeah.
So what you do is, as you waterboard yourself, okay? You get yourself a washcloth, warm to hot water, and you just simply breathe through it. And what that will do is it will loosen up the secretion so that you can cough them out, sneeze them out, and blow your nose and get rid of them that way. But if you're out there taking a machine or a syringe to push saline in, you are asking for trouble. Something called suppurative sinusitis, which is an infectious or a bacterial sinus infection, and that makes doctors salivate, because that's one of the ways they earn their living.
Thanks for the call, Rick. Your line is now available to you, 407-422-1212. Now, keep in mind, Linda will answer the phone, and she will screen your call. She wants to get information so it's easier for us to work. A lot of people, Rick was one of them, I don't just want to talk to the doc.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, I need to know what's on deck.
Info, so, yeah, and be nice to her or she'll hang up on you. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I know this as a true.
She hangs up on me if I'm nasty to her.
I know. What is your opinion of name brand supplements? Are they effective?
You have to be careful. The stuff that's been sitting on TV, making many bold claims, and a lot of these things have come and gone over the years, because as soon as the FDA starts asking for their proof, they tend to dry up and go away. But there's no single supplement, there's no single approach that you can do that's going to do everything that anybody is claiming is happening here. Okay. So be aware that if you take beets and you dehydrate them into capsules, you still end up with only 2 grams of beet. Okay.
If you see that commercial, to me, it just looks like another powdered substance that's not going to do a damn thing for you.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. None of it makes any sense. Right. So you need to be a little bit more thoughtful about it. It's a very lazy approach to this. And so the folks that buy into it, tend to not be willing to do their reading and studying.
Right, and you'll notice on a lot of those bottles, if you pick it up, it says FDA not approved.
It says it's not useful for any disease at all.
Or it says may help. Not
This may help, but it most certainly will lighten your wallet by about $100 a month. Okay. So what do we got next?
Just reading.
Why should we worry about estrogen supplementation and increased risk of cancer?
Why do you not worry about that, is what it says. Why do you not worry about estrogen
it's
supplementation
simple.
and increased risk of cancer in older women?
Because when I do it, I actually measure estrogen levels.
Oh.
What do you know about that? So
it's not just some random dart throwing it at the wall.
No. If you go to a doctor and they say, here, try some estrogen pills, and they don't draw your blood to see what your estrogen level is, I would worry about that. Okay? Because, that is a problem. But what we do is we adjust the estrogen levels to try optimally to be between 30 and 80 picograms per deciliter. So right in there, that's a sweet spot. And it works perfectly. The other thing is you worry about the 21 beta hydroxy, not the 17 beta hydroxy estradiol. Okay. So if we're going to get technical about it, the third thing is if you read the literature on it. So bioidentical hormone replacement, that's using the appropriate hormones in the appropriate way, has no influence on the incidence of cancer. Even if you've already had cancer, it doesn't increase your risk of getting it again. The seminal work was done by Bill Kreisman at Medical University of South Carolina in the 1980s. It's been around for 40 years.
Wow, that's pretty long. I'm pretty sure of it. Okay, so we're going to take a break. Anything referenced here, like all that stuff you told Rick, again, you can come down to Stages of Life store. It's right off of I-4 in Longwood, right across from Four Rivers, the other side of the street.
Yeah, we have nice parking and good people, and we're always happy to meet listeners.
Most definitely. And if you can't make it, you're listening on the internet or whatever, just go to stagesoflifevitamins.com. We'll be right back. Stay right there. So, I was just going to say this leaky gut theory thing that he's asking about. This guy has a BioComplete 3 and a Total Restore. All in one prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic formula to supplement optimal gut health. And then there's an asterisk.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like much
he's
of
the beet guy, leaky guts.
Yeah, it's just the way it works. And so, beets are marvelous tuber. They're great. They're marvelous in salads and whatnot. That's a great way to pull up certain types of antioxidants and phenolic compounds.
You're not supposed to eat tomatoes, bell peppers, or cucumbers, that they're banned.
They're banned?
Yeah.
Is that a fact? Okay,
you know
why they say that?
De-seeded.
Do you know why? Okay, they're not going to give you the reason why they're saying this, but it happens to be wise advice anyway.
Yeah.
Because of something called a lectin. Okay, so what they're doing is they're taking you off lectins, which are far more likely to cause your upset stomach, and then giving you a pill that's largely useless, and then asking if you're feeling better.
Okay, and then let's see what else. Sprouted seeds, chia, flax seed, sunflower seeds, gluten-free grains, healthy fats like avocado oil, coconut oil.
Yeah, okay, so these are chiropractors probably put this thing together.
Yeah, and tuna, salmon, herring. Herring, really?
Herring, yeah. Okay, let's get back to the basics here while we have time to do it. For starters, the fish that you're looking for to replace the omega-3s, the best advice I can give you is to go with the most economical pair of them, and they're called anchovies and sardines. So the oils that you get that are made from anchovies and sardines are going to have the best value, best concentration of EPA and DHA, and the lowest likelihood of you coming down with things like heavy metal poisoning.
Always get them in oil.
Larger fish like salmon, hey, that's great when you're having a cookout, but it's really lousy oil to take it for health. We avoid salmon oil like the plague. Coconut oil, again, it's one of these sorts of things that's just marvelous if you want to stink in the old age home. The omega-7s that kick out of it, they're marvelous. No, we don't use coconut oil because it's another thing that hardens your arteries.
Crap.
It's crap. So be very careful about what you hear, what
Sarah
you read.
Grace has joined us. Okay, thanks, Joe. By the way, we'll see what happens there.
So, the question about lectins, we'll
Yeah.
get into that. Thanks. I think there are more people that want to hear about that.
Yeah, we can do all that. As soon as I checked, I looked up this person's question just so I could, without mentioning names, but it's crap. So.
Yeah. Well, I actually know them.
And now you know it's crap?
No. It's what it is. It's a means and mechanisms to earn a good living.
Oh man,
Yeah.
really?
So yeah.
It's like Amway.
Yeah. Except I think you'll get a better value out of Amway.
Oh jeez. Welcome back, Stages of Life Radio with Dr. David Klein. Don't forget the S. I don't know why. I'm Melissa Fox. Don't forget the second X.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Well, what's a name?
It's my name. All right, we got the text line. It's kind of hopping right now, 23680. And we also have a question on the social internet there, whatever it is.
All right.
But you can answer whichever one of these you want here. What about the lectins?
Yeah. Okay. Lectins. Now this is a lesson I want you to take home. This one is important. Now, what's a lectin? We all know about gluten. What did you know about gluten 20 years ago? And the answer is probably not. So now everybody thinks they know about gluten. What's gluten? Oh, I know what gluten is. Okay, there are 1,000 different glutens. Okay, your body may only be sensitive to 1 or 2, maybe 3, but not to all glutens. So to be gluten-free is kind of an odd thing to tell anybody anyway. I happen to have an allergy to corn gluten. Now, so what do I know about lectins? Now, this is the one you need to be looking at because this is the 21st century, so we need to have a new villain. So the new villain is called lectin. Now, a lectin is a class of chemicals that's produced in plant materials to, let's say, to ward off insect predator and or animal predators. Where do you find lectins? Typically in tubers, things like potatoes, gourds, squashes, these sorts of things, and in seeds, because wouldn't you know it, the plant is gracious enough to produce a piece of fruit to entice you to eat it. And what you're supposed to do is to spit out the seeds or something else, and those seeds are supposed to produce new plants. Mm-hmm. But if you're out there eating the seeds, it doesn't serve the plant's it wishes very well. So you'll see lectins in things that are seed products like corn. But the most interesting ones are in cucumbers, cucumber seed, cucumber skin and whatnot. So read about lectins, and I think you're going to start finding foods that may be upsetting to you. They'll always talk about nightshade. They'll talk about tomatoes. Very few people actually have problems with tomatoes themselves. Were this not the case, there would not be a great deal of popularity of things like pizza or calzone.
Right.
Okay, so when you start cooking these lectins, they have a tendency to break down, whereas gluten may not.
What about the pepper, though?
Green
pepper. We don't eat the seeds normally.
No, you don't eat the seeds in green pepper. You're not supposed to eat them. So if you take the fruit itself, and green pepper is a fruit, then you should do well with it. But sometimes the skins are problematic for certain individuals. So that's what lectins are about. So what do I know about lectins? There are thousands of different lectins. There are 5 or 6 different major classes of them. And what you need to do when you do your exclusion diets, elimination diets, most of the work you're doing towards the end of that diet is looking at lectins.
Kathy's checking in from the island of the Gray Lady, known as Nantucket. And Dr. Klein, are the COVID vaccines safe? I have a friend
We all have friends
who says don't get the booster when you need it. She thinks the shots will have HIV in them and eventually they will kill people off.
Yeah, well, the one thing I've learned about Nantucket, and I love the place, I love it up there, is you have just as many crazies there as we do down here. Yeah. And no, they're not putting HIV into these boosters, so that way we'll have I mean, I can't even imagine why anybody would think such nonsense.
Well, because Fauci was supposed to find a cure for HIV back in the 80s.
So now we'll go kill people?
I think it all kind of got mashed together maybe, and it came out sideways.
I went and got the booster myself.
Yeah, and
okay,
the wife.
It's perfectly safe. I recommend it to my patients. We've been actually recommending them before the FDA
Kath, I will get mine
said that it was a good idea.
As soon as my shingle window is over, because I had the shingle shot and they wouldn't let me.
Well, no, you want to give enough time to work without, because the shingle shot itself can make you feel pretty pukey.
Yeah, well, my arm hurt for almost 4 days.
Yeah, it's not a lot of fun. No. But something, I've had shingles, and it sucks.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with the shot than have the shingles.
My recommendation to you, if you're over 65 years of age and it's been 6 months since you've had your COVID shots, just go get the vaccine. Just go get it. Don't waste a lot of time, because you're now at increased risk. They're seeing people that have had COVID. They're seeing people that have had the vaccines ending up in the hospitals.
And Kathy, I
no
know
joke.
You're very conscious about your health and you've had a lot going on, so try not to listen to friends. Listen to the docs.
Yeah, talk to the doctors about it. Now, where they say 95% of doctors and nurses have received the COVID vaccine and are either going to get the booster or not, which means that 1 doctor in 20 is refusing to do it for whatever reason. So even in the medical community, we have some people that are a little bit light, and intellectually perhaps, or maybe they've got some kind of religious concern. Mm-hmm. But when you start listening to some of these wild assertions and rumors and whatnot, the thing to do is to stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself, and repeat what that rumor is. And if you look at yourself and you don't laugh, then it might pay to go read about it. But I'm not going to get the booster because it has HIV in it. Can you imagine what kind of lawsuits that would generate?
You saw how I got. I was reading a few words ahead, and as I was reading, she thinks the shot, and I immediately. Oh, she's from Maine.
Oh, well, that explains it.
That's her friend. She's from Maine. That'll do it right there.
Yeah.
So, it's
that's like spreading a rumor that you can get AIDS from lobsters. That would just kill them in Maine, right? Why don't you start that rumor and see how it works out? Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
So, all right. But there are things that you need to know about COVID. One of which is the most likely way you're going to get it is by touching your eyes, your face, your lips, or through what you eat. So be very, very careful at these super spreader events. You're not out there French kissing, the people that are sitting 2 seats down, but you are very, very likely to be handling the beer that's being handled by 6 people down the row before it gets to you.
Oh, Sarah, I got you real quick. She said manufacturers can't be sued.
Oh, the heck they can't. Oh, yeah.
That fine print.
Yeah, really. Yeah. No, they can get sued just fine. What it is that they're given certain protections right now, but manufacturers are sued all the time. Yeah. When I was given a contract because I wanted to do the COVID vaccines, it was 60 pages long, this contract with all kinds of disclaimers and whatnot. I tore the thing up and said, enough.
No. Sarah also wanted to know about this black seed oil supplement for immunity.
All right. Your immune system is the single most sensitive system that you have in your body to, let's say, micronutrient, let's say imbalances or inadequacies. So what I'm looking for is that you have to take a very, very wide variety of foodstuffs and nutritionals in order for the immune system to work well. So you can't look at any one thing, as though it's going to be the magic pill. It ain't going to happen. Vitamin D is a hormone. Well, you get it from the sunlight. No, you don't. You don't. You have to have vitamin D2 to get D3. You're not sunbathing all day long either. but it's a hormone that influences the immune system. So these minerals and whatnot, the vitamins and whatnot, that's what it
Just
takes.
someone trying to take a buck out of your pocket.
Yeah, you don't need an oil for this. Very few vitamins are actually oil soluble, and none of the minerals.
Yeah, I know that much. Yeah, because I had a friend who was a plumber. The first layer is corn, the next layer vitamins. Go. Get your.
What about the carrots? You didn't talk about carrots?
So they seem to break down a little better than the corn. We're out of here, right? Say goodbye.
You've been listening to Stages of Life Radio with Dr. David Klein. Check out stagesoflifemedicalinstitute.com or stop by 1917 Booth Circle in Longwood near the intersection of I-4 and 434. Call 407-679-3337. That's 407-679-3337. Dr. Klein accepts many insurances and Medicare too. Join us next Sunday at 4 p.m. on News Radio WFLA Orlando.